what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. Another day, another video, and in today's video I'm looking forward to share my 4th place national from nationals, local nationals, unofficial tournament here in Croatia. I used this Zekrom deck, and I managed to end up in the top 4 with it. In the top 4 matchup, I lost against Mewtwo, unfortunately, and I was not able to go in the finals. And for the 3rd place, I lost to the Blacephalon. It was a very tough matchup. I was also very tired. I lost a lot of concentration, so yeah. I mean, at the end, I can't say that my opponent wasn't better than me, because they was. Otherwise, they wouldn't win. Anyways, congratulations to all of my opponents and all of the other players that participated in that tournament. So this is the deck list specifically that I built for the tournament, and as you can see, it's not the standard Pikachu deck. It's very interesting Pikachu deck with a lot of different options and a lot of different cards that you can actually use to deal with many decks. So I was expecting to face up couple Malamar decks, and there's the reason why I decided to play Hoopa inside of it, because it's a very good card with Evil Domination. You can take advantage, knocking your opponent Giratina, and if that Giratina does not have spell tag, that Giratina won't be able to return knockout your Hoopa, and then you can take 2 prize cards until your opponent managed to take only 1, which is a very good thing. Additionally, I also played 2 copies of Zapdos, because I was expecting to deal with those type of the decks. But against many other decks, if you can set up pretty fast Zapdos and downwind Necrozma with 0 aura, you can simply use that into your favor and into your advantage, and you can spread some damage so you can finish the job either way with a Tandem Shock or with that Pikachu and Zekrom Full Blitz, or if it's necessary, Tag Bolt. So I also played 1 Tapu Fini with Natural Wave just to counter those Blacephalon decks, but I couldn't actually set it up when I really needed against that Blacephalon deck, and that was the biggest problem for me. Probably because I only played 2 copies of Pokemon Communication, so I had a hard time fighting that Tapu Fini and setting it on the bench. So 14 Pokemons, 4 of them are non-GX attackers, which is really important, especially if you're gonna face non-GX decks, for example, that Malamar Giratina. Very, very important. Alright, so game number 1, I played against Zekrom. I managed to win. Game number 2, I played against Giratina, Tag Team, and Malamar. I managed to win. Game number 3, unfortunately, I played against Mewtwo. It was very close to be a draw, but my opponent managed to pull that last custom catcher at the last turn that he had. And he actually won before time went up. Game number 4, I played against Malamar and Necrozma. That almost ended up as a draw, but I made a huge misplay, not scooping the Hoopa with 2 damage counters on it, and my opponent played Giratina on the bench, spread 1 damage to that Hoopa, and then used that GX on Deoxy and placed 10 damage counters for the last prize card. I was also short for 1 custom catcher that I couldn't pull for the win in that matchup. Round number 5, I actually don't remember round number 5 against who I played. But then in the top 8, I again played against Giratina and the Necrozma, managed to win that matchup, and in the top 4, I lost to the Mewtwo once again. It was very hard for me to deal against Mewtwo Tech Purge, because it was simply impossible to take enough damage with the Zapdos in order to knock that Mewtwo deck out. The guy who played Mewtwo ended up at the 2nd place, and actually, no, I actually, for the top 4, I lost to a Blacephalon deck, and that Blacephalon deck was at the 3rd place, and the guy who played Mewtwo lost in the finals to another Blacephalon deck. So yeah, additionally, I played also 2 Zekroms with a Full Blitz and Tag Bolt. With this deck, I had very good consistency, and pretty much in the Swiss rounds from 10 games, in 7 games or 6 games I managed to have turn 1 full blitz, which was pretty amazing. The reason why I actually lost to the Mewtwo deck was just because my opponent had in every single matchup Wobbuffet, and I was not able to set up that turn 1 full blitz, and that's probably the reason why I actually lost so easily against that deck. So yeah, I played Pikachu Zekrom ×2, as well as 1 copy of Raichu and Alolan Raichu with the Tandem Shock GX, very useful card. Even if I had Zeraora and Downwind Necrozma with that Tandem Shock, I also had very hard time to play against that Mewtwo. Even if I managed to paralyze him, he always find himself a switch card, and even if I do that once again, he again managed to find a switch and knock out my Raichu, and it was very hard for me and difficult to play against that. I only regret that I didn't include 1 Absol in my deck list, because that would probably make my opponent day much harder. Because he would need, in addition to that, also energy on Latias in order to switch retreat. What else did I have on this deck list? So yeah, I also played 1 Tapu Fini, which I couldn't find against Blacephalon in the game number 1. In the game number 2, I managed to find it out. I was down to 1 prize card in that game number 2. I lost the game number 1, and unfortunately I was again short for 1 custom catcher, so I lost that game, and I couldn't actually take the 3rd place. So there was also 1 Mew with the bench barrier. Earlier I managed already downwind Necrozma GX with that Invasion, just because I used double Zeraora, so I can have, you know, Invasion, retreat on the Zapdos, or maybe to Tapu Fini if it's necessary, or Hoopa for 1 prize exchange. Additionally, of course, Tapu Koko with the Dance of the Ancients, and to the Dins, and that was pretty much from the Pokemons. 14 in total. For the setup, I decided to go very hard with 4 copies of Electromagnetic Raider. I was also looking for extra consistency, so I included also 3 copies of the Cherish Ball and 2 copies of Pokemon Communication. So in total, 9 cards that can help me out to search the Pokemon and, you know, pull it out. Additionally, of course, 4 copies of Custom Catcher, 4 copies of Electric Power for extra damage, 2 copies of Energy Switch, and 1 copy of Tag Team Switch. So Tag Switch. So 3 Energy Switch card options in this build, and I think that's pretty much the sweet spot for the list like this, because I also played some other deck tool cards and item cards. For example, 1 Reset Stamp, 1 copy of Stadium Nav. You can flip 2 coins. If you get lucky, you can set that Thunderous Mountain turn 1. I also played 2 copies of Super Scoop Up, you know, just in case if I have in the active position, let's say Raichu and Alolan Raichu, and let's say Pikachu Zekrom. I can always try to flip the heads on the coin flip, scoop up my damaged Pokemon, or maybe the Din GX from the bench at any specific moment, and then just use another Din Daddy Charge, the Dini Charge, whatever it's called, can't pronounce it, so sorry for that. And, you know, keep going on with a draw support. Also from the stadium, 1 Thunder Mountain, 1 Viridian Forest. For the draw support, 2 Cynthios, 4 copies of Lily, additionally 3 copies of Volkner, and 11 Lightning Energy cards. That was the deck list that I used at today's National Championship. So overall, 15 players. We played top 8, you know, and just because we don't have organized play, we want to have, you know, top 8, because it should be top 4, of course, but we decided to go with the top 8 just to be a little bit harder for all players that managed to get in the top 8 to win. But of course, for those who end up from the 4th to, let's say, 8th place, that they can have another chance to, you know, maybe win the trophy, of course, as the best player. So ended up at the 4th place. I had very enjoyable experience, very pleased by my deck and by the performance. Of course, a congratulations to all players that participated, especially for those who managed to end up at the top 3 place, and to everybody who managed to win me. Of course, today those players are actually was better than me, and I have to congratulate to them on the victories. So I hope you guys this deck list will actually help you out, especially if you play Pikachu Zekrom deck. It is a very interesting deck list, so yeah, I actually decided to share it up. I'm not gonna play a single game with it. Probably it's gonna take a long time for me to record a video, so I just decided to share the video with you so you can at least have the deck list. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you already didn't, and we'll see you next time. So have a nice day and goodbye.